and I want to remind everybody we're conducting this evening's meeting in a virtual setting. Council members and staff are participating from remote locations, and the Deputy City Clerk, Mona Schilling, is in chamber to accommodate public communication. Members of the public may view and listen to the meeting live this evening on Spectrum Channel 3 and 22, AT&T UVerse Channel 99, and or also go to TV at youtube.com. Please remember to mute your mics when not speaking. And council members, colleagues, if you're making a motion or second, please do so using your last name in order for the clerk to hear and report correctly. And I'd like to turn it over to the city clerk for the invocation. Following that will be Councilmember Drew with the Pledge of Allegiance.
All right. We meet to serve our community, to use our resources wisely and well, to represent all members of our community fairly, to make decisions that promote the common good. We recognize our responsibility to the past and the future, and the rights and needs of both individuals and community. As trusted servants, we seek blessings on our deliberations and on our efforts here today. May we act wisely and well.
Councilmember Drew, please.
All right, if you all please rise and face in the direction of any flag you can see. Place your hand over your heart and repeat after me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, sir. All right, Madam Clerk, may you please take the roll call?
Councilmember Giroux.
Present.
Councilmember Nickel.
Here.
Councilmember Persak.
Here.
Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel.
Here.
And Mayor Boyles.
Here. Thank you. Madam Deputy City Clerk Schilling, is there anyone in chamber wishing to speak?
There is no one here in chamber wishing to speak tonight.
Thank you. Have you received any written public comments?
I have. I received 2 today. I'll read the first one. Good evening, City Council, City staff, and residents of El Segundo watching while you are safer at home. Your Environmental Committee just wanted to send out greetings to wish everyone good health and happiness on the eve of the 50th anniversary of Earth Day. While we miss not being able to share green ideas with you in person at the farmers market, as we have done these past 5 years during Earth Week, we hope you can take a moment to enjoy a breath of fresh air due to our now cleaner skies, and with appreciation for the earth, give yourself a moment of peace during these unsettling times. We also send out gratitude and wishes for continued strength to our civic leaders, emergency responders, first providers, and other essential workers who continue to serve our community on the front lines. Take care and happy Earth Day tomorrow. Sincerely, Tracy, Corey, Kevin, Rachel, Caroline, Kristen, and Sarah, your El Segundo Environmental Committee. And number 2, the city should take stronger measures to encourage county face covering ordinance, including 1, require that essential businesses post signage, 2, citation for businesses that allow people in without a face covering, 3, add face covering message to variable message signs in town, and 4, hang sign in town encouraging face coverings. Thank you, Kimberly Kelly. And that's all I have this evening.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Mr. Mitnick, would you like to address the comments?
Mr. Mayor and members of the council, staff will follow up with Mrs. Kelly to reassure her that we're complying with the applicable orders, and we'll work with her on her suggestions for the face coverings. So we appreciate the feedback. We'll personally, staff will follow up with her. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. All right, next up we have our Fire Chief, Chief Donovan, who's going to be giving us a COVID-19 update.
Hi, good afternoon, Mayor, members of council. Can you hear me okay? Great, thank you. Apologies. So this update will include the current COVID-19 statistics, some of our local actions, and our response to recovery efforts as we look to some of our mid to long range planning. As of today, according to the CDC website, April 21st at 1 p.m. in the United States, there's reporting 776,093 cases of COVID-19, 41,758 deaths. In California, there's 35,465 confirmed cases with 1,282 confirmed deaths. In Los Angeles County, again, this is now the LA County Department of Public Health website, 15,140 confirmed cases. That's an increase of 1,324 cases, and 663 deaths. That's an increase of 46 deaths overnight. In El Segundo, we have 21 confirmed cases. That's an increase in 1. And we now are getting statistics from LA County Public Health that provides it's a rate per 10,000 population, which provides a comparison of city to city. We are at 125 on that rate. In comparison, our neighbors to the south, Manhattan Beach, have 61 confirmed cases and a rate of 169. Hermosa Beach has 22 confirmed cases with a rate of 118. Redondo Beach has 94 confirmed cases with a rate of 137. And Torrance has 217 cases with a rate of 145. What this indicates is that the South Bay is fairly consistent in our numbers in the community. What this is also indicating is that we're seeing an increase in the number of cases here in El Segundo and throughout the South Bay as we see more patients being tested for COVID-19, more test kits available, and the backlog of cases that had occurred are now being cleared. As was reported, there was one lab in particular that had a substantial backlog of cases that they've been able to clear. One of the important things moving forward that we've heard from both the federal, state, and regional partners is the need to do more active testing for both the COVID-19 test to determine if you're positive or negative. And as I mentioned in our city council workshop, the nasal testing is the most effective as opposed to the swab that you get in your mouth. So if you are having symptoms of COVID-19, fever of 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit or higher, difficulty breathing, body aches, it's important that you contact your primary care provider and try to get testing. Some of our local actions that we've been taking that I'd like to touch on, specifically and most importantly, Park Vista. As I've mentioned many times, Park Vista is still our #1 target hazard as it relates to focusing our energy and actions. Wednesday on the 15th of April, the Women's Club was able to donate face coverings to the residents, and the incident management team, who is active and working hard, where they were able to individually package, provide instructions, and distribute those to the residents of Park Vista. Effective tomorrow, we have a contract with a company that will begin doing on-site health checks of all of our residents. There'll be a nurse that will be on site on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. That nurse will provide free of charge health screenings of all the residents and will provide some direction and further medical surveillance if needed. This is going to be on a voluntary basis. There will be pamphlets and handouts that will be made and delivered to all the residents in terms of how to call and book for an appointment. Proud of those efforts that the city's undertaking. We're also fortunate to have the Bridge Church and PD volunteers continuing to do wellness checks via phone. And our shopper assistance program is still active, not only for our Park Vista residents, for any member in our community that needs assistance for shopping or other needs. And as a reminder, anyone in the city can contact outreachhelp@elsegundo.org. One word, outreachhelp@elsegundo.org, or they can call 310-524-2705, and we will follow up and provide assistance. As I mentioned, our incident management team is fully staffed and continuing to support this incident. Last week, we were able to purchase, in compliance with the LA County Public Health Order that required face covering for essential employees. We were able to provide face masks and distribute to all city employees, not just the IMT members, but all city employees. We also began health screening tests of all of our employees. So they're now, depending on the facility in which you work, you'll be asked to do a quick screen. We are taking temperature checks of our employees. We're logging their health prior to arriving at work, and we're providing any necessary follow-up that's needed for our employees. And then we've provided to all of our supervisors an employee illness decision guideline. So if an employee shows up to work not feeling well or becomes ill while at work, we now have protocols and procedures in place in which to properly respond and care for that employee. Our incident management team is also doing work in conjunction with economic development. The IMT is doing business outreach, which includes sending emails to businesses informing them of the requirements under the health orders and any changes to state or county orders will be communicated through the incident management team. They also have sent out, again, in concert with our economic development team, financial assistance packets. And as a reminder, for those of you that are watching or listening, federal government did approve an updated stimulus package for small businesses today. So we'll be presenting more information on that in the following days. And flyers and posters are being provided to area businesses for outreach. Our public information team continues to do an outstanding job of communications. Every day during the week, the mayor does his 11 a.m. briefing. We've moved the PSAs, the public service announcements, to 2 per week moving forward. We're continuing to have a presence with social media. And on April 30th at 2 p.m., we're planning our next town hall, a live town hall meeting. So that's the local efforts taking place. Finally, I'd like to briefly talk about this response to recovery effort. We're still in our response mode, but we're really thinking about the recovery efforts and how we come back. And as I've mentioned many times, it's not like flipping on a light switch. We're not going to go back to normal right away. It'll be a staged, phased, deliberate, smart approach in how we enter back in to our daily activities. And our team is focusing on specifically how we approach our beaches, our library, our parks, and other city services. There's a lot of effort right now being taken place at the state of California and again, locally here at LA County. What we have found to be extremely beneficial in our research and in our efforts to make good recommendations to the city council is following the Los Angeles County Public Health Officer and the LA County Public Health Department in their guidance. They have really advanced surveillance, medical surveillance. They've have a good handle in terms of what are appropriate and right steps to take. And we have done very well, in my opinion, in following those orders, and so we will do so. We're also now looking at, the governor put out a packet on 6 indicators for modifying the stay-at-home order. So we're reviewing those 6 indicators, and we'll build those into our recommendations to the city council. We've also been provided a copy of the Beach Cities Health District Strategic Plan. This is for the South Bay cities that have access to beaches. It's a strategic plan that talks about a staged and phased response into allowing access, and the idea is all South Bay cities would work in concert in how we approach phasing in access to the beach. And lastly, we're going to follow health data and good decision making that's in the best interest of health and wellness of our community. And so that is a brief overview and an update as it relates to the current COVID-19 statistics, our local actions, and our response to recovery efforts. And I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Chief. Any questions? Okay, doesn't appear to be. Thank you very much. Well done.
Thank you.
Okay, item A, procedural motions. Consideration of a motion to read all ordinances and resolutions on the agenda by title only. Council members, please state your last name and if you'd like to make a motion to read all ordinances and resolutions by title only.
Nichols, so moved.
Thank you.
Perstick, second.
Thank you. Madam Clerk, would you please take a voice vote?
Councilmember Giroux,
Yes.
Councilmember Nichol,
Yes.
Councilmember Perstuck,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel,
Yes.
and Mayor Boyles.
Yes.
Okay, your motion passed 5-0.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to consent calendar, items 1 through 4. And I would just ask if there's anyone, a council member would like to pull an item for discussion, please raise your hand. Okay, seeing none. Do I have a motion to approve consent?
Giroux, motion to approve.
Thank you, sir.
Nichols, second.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Councilmember Giroux,
Yes.
Councilmember Nichol,
Aye.
Councilmember Perstuck,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel,
Yes.
and Mayor Boyles.
Yes.
All right, your motion passed 5-0.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item C, public hearing. Continue the public hearing regarding zone text amendment, creating a pilot program to allow and regulate short-term rentals in the city's residential zoning districts through a short-term permit process. And we would be continuing that to June 2nd, 2020. The proposed project is categorically exempt from the requirements of the California Environmental Quality Act pursuant to Class 1 existing facilities, 14 Cal Code Regs 15301. Because it would result in a negligible expansion of an existing use, as the amendment consists of establishing regulations and procedures for renting existing residential units on a short-term basis, excuse me, providing the property owner resides on site. This is the time and place to continue the public hearing to June 2nd, 2020. And no action required, is that correct, Mr. Attorney? Or Clerk? Okay, great.
Okay.
All right, moving on. Item D, staff presentations. Number 6, approve fiscal year 2020-2021 budget calendar, establishing study sessions, public hearing dates, and direction to change the fiscal year cycle. Mr. Mitnick, who will report on this item?
Finance Director Joe Lilio.
Thank you. Mr. Lilly?
Good evening, Mayor Boyles, City Council members. So the item before you tonight is to approve the fiscal year 2021 budget calendar. Also, in addition to that, we're asking for direction from council, and we've discussed this in last year's strategic planning session with council, to move our fiscal year, which is currently October 1st through September 30th, to a July 1st through June 30th platform, in line with the vast majority of other cities. I believe there's only less than 10 cities in the state of California that still have the federal fiscal year as El Segundo does. So for 2021, we would, in order to achieve this, for 2021, we would need to have a 9-month budget, October 1st, 2020 through June 30th, 2021. And then all subsequent years would be on a 12-month cycle again, getting us in line for the July 1st through June 30 budget cycle. Also attached is some key dates on the budget preparation calendar, including a proposed strategic planning session with City Council in June. I'm open to any questions.
Okay. Colleagues, any questions for Mr. Lilio? I don't see any. Okay. So, let me go back to my script here. All right, so we're going to do a vote then. If there are no questions or comments, we'll do a vote to approve what's been presented, including the change to the budget cycle and the calendar. Let's see. So stating your last name, if you'd like to make a motion to approve, please do so now.
Perstick, approve. Move to approve.
Thank you.
Giroux, second.
Thank you. Okay, Madam Clerk, voice vote, please.
Councilmember Drew,
Yes.
Councilmember Nichol,
Aye.
Councilmember Perstuck,
Yes.
Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel,
Yes.
Mayor Boyles.
Yes.
All right, you passed the 5-0.
Okay, thank you, Madam Clerk. City Clerk, do you have any reports this evening?
None this evening.
Thank you. City Treasurer? I don't see any representative right now, so I assume that's a pass. Okay, Councilmember Drew, any reports?
Nothing from me.
Thank you, sir. Councilmember Nichol?
Nothing for me. You heard me say nothing, correct, Mayor?
Oh yeah, I think I was muted. Sorry. I said thank you, sir. Councilmember Perstuck. Sorry, I was like, Carol, is your voice not working? Audio?
Oh, hold on. Someone's speeding down Main Street.
I heard that at my house, actually.
Sorry about that. I just wanted to thank the staff and specifically the finance department for really working on, our budget and looking at opportunities for us to ensure that we come out of this COVID-19 healthy. I know, and I just want to also thank the incident team and the fire department, police department for being on the lookout. It's nice to see. I do live on Main Street, and I see police and fire driving around town a lot. Just want to thank them for really supporting and loving our town. And thanks to all the teachers out there who are learning how to teach via Zoom and to teach virtually. They're doing a great job, ensuring that our youth are continuing to learn. And stay safe, everybody, and please make sure you wear your face mask.
Thank you, Councilmember Perstuck. Mayor Pro Tem Pimentel.
I have nothing to add. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I have nothing as well. City Attorney.
Nothing this evening. Thank you.
Thank you. City Manager, anything to follow up on from this evening?
Mr. Mayor, members of the council, I'll be brief. We will follow up to the one resident that had some comments about face coverings. Your next city council meeting will be 2 weeks from tonight on May 5th. It will be a light agenda with one involved item, and that is the fiscal year 1920 mid-year budget adjustments. So that will reflect the impact of the COVID-19 emergency on our finances. And we encourage the members of the public to tune in to watch. The impact has been significant, to say the least, and we will have a game plan with different scenarios for City Council to contemplate as to how to get through this fiscal year, and then with a look at where we might be moving toward next fiscal year. I do want to end on a positive note. We've all been under a lot of stress, council members, the community, city staff, police, fire, etc. And in the LA Business Journal for last week, there you can see this on the front page. About half the front page is dedicated to El Segundo with the headline "Taking Off. Once dependent on aerospace, El Segundo has diversified and thrived." So even during this time of stress and challenges to the economy, the LA Business Journal did an in-depth report here and talked about our future and how El Segundo is well set and has a solid foundation to build on. So as the economy comes back after the coronavirus is more in our rearview mirror, we do have a solid future to look forward to. It'll be stressful as we make that transition, but I do want to remind all of us, we have a lot to be grateful for here in El Segundo, and the one of the premier business journals did reflect that and point that out. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, members of the council.
Thank you, sir. And I know Barbara Voss, Kristen Berger, and Christina Rovellis and others worked really hard to get that press placement. So great job, really well done. It was outstanding. All right, so we are adjourning at 6:25 p.m., which may be a record. All right, thank you, everyone. Have a great evening.